Hello everyone, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking Toku TV review, yeah! This is of a show that you can watch on Netflix, legally. A lot of Toku stuff doesn't have legal subs or dubs, so you can't watch it. But this is sort of an original show, short of not. VR Troopers, the West's adaptation of Metal Heroes. There are some specific Metal Heroes. We're focusing on Season 1 today. We're not reviewing both seasons at once. Season 1 of VR Troopers adapts Chojunki Metallider and Jugo Sensei Spielbahn. So Metallider and Spielbahn. I'll probably reference them several more times. VR Troopers is by Saban. It was on around the same time as Power Rangers in 1996. I've been live streaming about it a lot on the main channel. But VR Troopers Season 1 is like 52 episodes. It's quite long. Just a little longer than the average Toei show, actually. Because they had so much footage for it, because they were taking footage from two shows at once and putting them together. But they had to switch from Metallider to a Space Sheriff show for Season 2, because Metallider is actually the shortest Metal Hero show at 30-something episodes, 36, 39, something like that. Instead of the normal 49-50. So the VR Troopers, in the 90s there was this big kind of wave of VR, and then the public lost interest in it, and now it's kind of back, but we've kind of perfected VR. Not really, but now we actually have working, readily available VR. But the VR Troopers are three martial arts loving young people. They're not quite teenagers. They are high school graduates, unlike the Power Rangers. Two of them are employed at a karate dojo, and then one is employed as a reporter, but she also seems to also work at the dojo a little bit, kind of as an assistant, like a little secondary job. I guess she's more like the highest level student. But Ryan Steele is kind of the main character. He has the Metallider suit. And then the other two have the suits from Spielbahn, because Spielbahn had two suited characters, one male, one female, luckily. And they become the VR Troopers because a professor recruits them to fight against Grimlord's army, and in real life, Grimlord is a big, evil businessman, billionaire type. And he already kind of rules virtual reality, and he wants to rule reality as well. And so these three young people are assigned to stop him and his armies. Big armies. Like, they fight armies of bad guys. Sometimes they fight one-on-one bad guys, but they also often fight literal armies with their big, heavy machinery. So, what do I think of the show? The first couple episodes are pretty bad. Episode 1 is terrible. The first couple episodes are quite bad. But once you get past them, the show is just as good as Power Rangers. It really is. It's really just as good as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was. I mean it. The professor character is bland. The actor is bland. It's no wonder he was only ever in two things. If you look up his IMDb, he was literally in two things. VR Troopers and then some movie, I think. But it adapts the footage pretty well. One thing about the show is the three VR Troopers never really fight together unless they're fighting Skugs, which are the putties of the show. They never fight together because their footage is from two different shows. So you'll see Caitlin and JB, who are the Spielbahn characters, fight together all the time. But you never see them fight with Jason Steele because his suit's from Metallider. So the show always has to come up with excuses for why they don't fight with each other. And it's actually pretty good at it for the most part. There are a couple excuses that are kind of stupid. But most of the time the excuses are pretty solid. And it's like, I'd like to see them fight together in some original footage, but it's not going to happen. Now, if this show was made right now, we would see the three of them fight together in original footage. We would. Because, like, if you look at Power Rangers, Beast Morphers has so much original footage, it's insane. Beast Morphers Season 2 is the current season at the time of recording. at the time of recording this. But, just fiddling with the Beast Morpher while I'm talking. VR Troopers. The 3 troopers themselves are entertaining to watch. I have the same problem with them that I did the Rangers in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They're too perfect. They are 3 young people who are in incredible shape and are good looking for the most part. And they are incredibly generous, incredibly good people who seem to be really, really good at literally anything they attempt. They're all Mary Sues. That's not as interesting as people with character flaws. Like, look at the Red Ranger's relationship with his dad in Beast Morphers. You know, he's not a perfect character. You know, he can't hold down a job. He disappoints his father often, and there's a lot of drama and tension with his father. And there is some father stuff here because Red Ranger's father is missing, and his father is one of the creators of the VR Troopers, not Red Ranger, Metallitor. You'd think he was the Red Ranger because he's the leader, and he also wears red in every episode. Another problem I have with VR Troopers is there's no way to individually refer to any single VR Trooper. They are just a VR Trooper. Like in Power Rangers, you can refer to them as their color. But in VR Troopers, there's no individual references. I'm like in my live streams, I've just been calling them like Metallitor, Spielbahn, etc. Because they don't have individual designations within the Western adaptation. Not that that's a big problem. To me it is, but to other people that might not matter at all. There's also lots of characters that are fine. There was this like 4-part episode that was really good that involved Jason Steele's father. And it was really good, where his father was turned into one of Grimlord's goons of sorts. And then the season finale was a 2-parter involving one of their new friends, who I thought was just the hottest thing in the world, being turned into an evil VR trooper. And because at first I was watching the story of Ryan's father, and I was like, this would make a good season finale, but it's like happens halfway through the show. It's more like a mid-season finale. And then the season finale was also good, though, because it was a 2-parter that involved an evil VR trooper called the Red Python, which was very cool. Let me talk about the comic relief, because I'm not a big fan of it. In Power Rangers, they had comic relief characters Bulk and Skull, who are so funny. I love them to this day. In VR Troopers, the comic relief characters aren't as lovable as Bulk and Skull, because we got to see Bulk and Skull grow so much over the course of Power Rangers. They were bullies, but then they became junior police officers and eventually detectives, and they had trouble holding down a job, but not because they were bad people, just because they were idiots. But Bulk and Skull tried to be good. They tried to be better. And maybe we'll see that in Season 2 with Percy. I don't know. There's this character called Percival Rooney III. He goes by Percy, unwillingly. And he's always trying to get the scoop for the newspaper. Always trying to undermine other people's stories so that he can get the story himself. And he's very clumsy. Also not very smart. He's just like Bulk and Skull, but at the same time, because remember, Bulk and Skull grew out of their bully phase. Percival hasn't really grown out of his entitled rich kid phase yet. Maybe he will by the end of Season 2, and I can only hope he will. But for now, he's more annoying than anything. The dog can talk in this show. His name is Jeb. I do not like him. I never thought I would dislike the dog, but I do. He's also comedic relief, and he's a jerk. And he pulls mean-spirited pranks on Percy and the mayor's wife. And he blows raspberries all the time, and he does this awooga thing with his eyes that's so stupid and poorly animated. And like the only reason he blows raspberries at people every episode, multiple times, is because dogs stick out their tongue to pant and lick and stuff. So there's a lot of footage of him sticking out his tongue that they can freeze frame and put a raspberry sound effect over. And it's so dumb. Jeb is so bad. I do not like Jeb. He's a bad dog. He's mean-spirited. He eats everybody's food. I'm not a Jeb fan. We also have the head of the newspaper, the big editor-in-chief, and he's not a bad guy. He's really weird. Like, really weird. But at the end of the day, he's a good boss, and he's apparently good at his job because his newspaper sells. So, that's that. Once again, the professor is extremely bland, has no personality, and it's really the actor is the reason he has no personality. But, all in all, the footage is adapted well. The 90s footage is a higher quality than the Metal Heroes footage because it has like 10 years on the Metal Heroes footage. Like the footage they're adapting is 10 years old at the time they're adapting it, which would make it like 40 years old now. Crazy. So, final thoughts on VR Troopers. Yeah, you should watch it. If you're a big TOKU fan, I do recommend it. If you're a big original Power Rangers fan, definitely watch VR Troopers. Once again, the first couple episodes are hard to get through, but once you do, it's really fun. And I think it's worth showing to your kids. Your kids will love it. If your kids like Power Rangers, they'll really like VR Troopers. I am going to start watching Season 2, and I will be reviewing Season 2. The only reason I'm not reviewing them as one big VR Troopers review is because, one, the footage changes from Metallider to Space Sheriff Scheider, and I want to see what differences that brings with the show. And also, I want to, let me say this. I watched Season 1 on my vacation. I'm in my family's beach condo right now. See? Hashtag privilege. But I'm in my family's beach condo. And since it's COVID time, I haven't really been able to go out to the zoo or go to the water park or anything. So I've spent most of this vacation in the room, to be completely honest, or reading on the balcony in the seaside air with the seaside view, which is really nice. But I had a lot of time on my hands because of COVID. Came down here, still social distancing. So I watched VR Troopers Season 1, and I won't be able to finish Season 2 before I leave. And if many of you follow me, you know I have bad internet at home. So it'll take me a while to get through Season 2 because I am leaving here tomorrow. So I will not be able to finish Season 2 while I'm here, even though it is shorter. It's only 40 episodes, unlike the 52 that Season 1 was. So, another thing I want to say about VR Troopers is it actually had similar ratings to Power Rangers. But the only reason it didn't go longer than 2 seasons is because they just ran out of footage. And you know how Saban was in the early days. They didn't want to really change the suits, which is why Mighty Morphin Power Rangers used the Jew Rangers suits, even though they had the Zords from other Sentais and villains from other Sentais. So they just kind of ran out of Spielbahn footage, and then they were like, it's done. We're not willing to adapt any other Metal Heroes as VR Troopers, but I think they should have, because VR Troopers is very enjoyable, and I would have loved to see more Metal Heroes adapted. But if I had to pick one Metal Hero to be adapted, I would have picked Just Beyond, my favorite Metal Hero show. I love me some Just Beyond. G-Bon would have been nice to see. It might be a little violent, though. A little too violent. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. We got more Toku TV reviews coming at you. I'm going to be doing Ultraman Rube soon. I'm going to be doing Kamen Rider Ghost. I'm going to be doing Takumi Sentai Go Busters very soon. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I'll see you all next time.